What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. It's a little bit of a different video today. Obviously, I'm just standing here in my office. And today, obviously by the title, we'll just be kind of going over everything here in my sim racing room with my gaming setup and sim racing rig and everything. I made this kind of video quite a long time ago, so it's about time I made an updated video, and I kind of get asked this question a lot about what my sim rig and all that kind of stuff looks like. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Here's a little pre-notion, don't mind the cable management and cleanliness of this, John, you know what I'm saying? This is the old office, the old boys' room. But this is going to be it. Maybe it's right beyond this door, and oh my goodness, there it is. There is everything. Now, if you're just here just to see the sim rig and setup, then this is all you need to see, baby. Video is done for you. Appreciate you coming by. Leave a like on it. But I'm going to go ahead and go over every single thing I got in this room here, starting way off from the left and then finishing off with the sim rig. Maybe I'll have timestamps and stuff like that, but I'll have everything linked down in the description. And if any of the links are broken or I missed something, let me know and I'll go in there and add it or fix it. Starting off with the office, we got the Secret Lab chair, which I have had for a pretty dang long time. It's got a little tag thing on it from 2022. I did buy it brand new. The seat's good, great condition. People say it's kind of stiff, Secret Lab chairs, but that's my preference in chair. This thing is still super soft to the touch, It's stayed in excellent, really good condition. Of course, we got Jeff Gordon up on the wall, Pepsi Racing, with some Ryan Blaney up in front of me. If you've seen my YouTube short or Facebook reels and stuff like that, you'll see all this in the background. Usually, when I'm sitting here editing, I'll pull out my phone and make a quick reel about some stupid crash or some stupid garbage that's going on. And you'll see the die casts there and everything in the background of those reels. So this is a 49-inch ultra-wide, not OLED monitor. It's from Viotech, I believe is how you pronounce that. It has this controller with it and stuff like that, which I'll get into a little bit more of this later. Simply by pressing this power button, it actually activates my sim rig over there. It's a totally seamless transition, but like I said, we'll get into that here later. But this monitor is actually really awesome. It's 120 hertz. I've had it probably since I got the Secret Lab chair, and I have sim raced on it before, and I have also sim raced, of course, on VR and stuff like that. And I gotta say, my preference 100% is the triples. I got some Logitech speakers back there is what we got going on. Same with the subwoofer with some not so great cable management, and that's the situation we got going on with as far as speaker sound. I do have a pair of Astro A50s that I use for my headphones. Frequently have those on while I'm gaming and editing. And then the diecast we got out here, of course, we got the Mark Martin Viagra Gen 4 car here. I did just recently pick this one up on eBay. It was only $20 freaking, which is just blows my mind. This is like a really nice high quality diecast that honestly I'd spend like $70 on something like this, but it was like $20 on eBay, and it came in like its own box, it's excellent condition. This other diecast I have is a Tyler Reddick diecast, which he has signed it. I didn't get it signed by him, I purchased it signed, but as you can see, it is the Megadeth Xfinity car. I freaking love me some dang Megadeth, and I thought that was totally rad, and absolutely had to get that. And then, of course, the Kyle Larson die-cast here. This is actually one of my most favorite ones. It is very shiny. It's probably the Elite version or something. I'm not really sure. I didn't buy this one. One of my friends actually bought it for me, but it's signed by Kyle Larson, and I got this die-cast probably about 3 weeks before the incident. Put that back. Now this one's pretty dang cool. This one's obviously the Eric Estep Xfinity car, driven by Brendan Poole, but on the back, it does have my name on it. I cannot exactly remember where my name is, but it's on here somewhere. It's on the actual car too, of course, because they had a thing where if you bought the diecast, you get your name on the trunk. So we did that, baby. We did it. I'm not exactly too sure what this keyboard is. Of course, it is a Corsair. It has that little metal dialy, sound thing, and this little wrist rest thing. I've done a lot of miles on this bad boy for sure. Definitely had that thing for years, along with my Logitech mouse. I've had that thing for a very, 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 very long time. It probably is like the second ever gaming mouse I've ever owned, and I've been doing gaming PC stuff since 2014. Then I got one of these just simple PC controllers. I forgot the brand. It's like 8-bit something or something like that. Some special edition. I don't even know what game that is. I have no idea. I just got it on sale. 8-bit do. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what's up. You know what kind of controller it is. And then we have my freaking gaming PC, dude, the beast. This thing powers, you know, of course, my gaming rig where I game, you know, on this ultrawide and stuff. And it's also the exact same rig that powers my sim rig. And I stream from it, I game from it, I record from this thing. I don't have like a second PC or anything like that. So this thing is freaking wild, man. This thing probably pulls a lot of power out of the wall, I'd imagine. We got a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D CPU in that John with that NZXT CPU cooler. Just it's got a display on it. It shows some temperatures and some whatnots. That is in Fahrenheit, so don't worry, that's not Celsius. And we got it partnered here with a big giant RTX 5090, freaking 32 gigs in that, Larry. I did have an 1080 Ti in there, and that thing was minuscule. It wasn't like that big, but it was minuscule compared to this 5090. This thing is unbelievably freaking massive, and I don't think the camera really does it justice. But it's also a pretty dang cool, you know, fish tank or whatever style gaming case or PC case. You know, it's one of the cheapest ones I could find. You know what I'm saying? It's not some crazy awesome one or anything like that by Dark Flash. You know, who knows what brand that is? Maybe they're huge. I don't know. And we also got 2 sticks of 32 gigs each, so a total of 64 gigs of RAM, you know, plus 32 gigs of the VRAM. And then multiple M.2 SSDs and stuff, and then just a couple of just, you know, dedicated SSDs or whatever, just a straight SSD that's not a M.2 into the motherboard. And this Larry puts out a ton of heat, as you can imagine, so up here in the radiator, I got this fan right here that I'll turn on when the air starts coming out really hot up here, you know, so it's like a heater for this room. It's pretty awesome when it's cold, but I have a feeling like maybe this is making some turbulence, you know, over the mesh here and isn't maybe allowing as much air to escape. Like, I have no idea. I kind of thought about that when I set this up, about how air works. So I'm not really sure if that's too smart. I might need to angle it up more is a good idea, but no, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I have no idea. And then the last thing before we get into the actual sim rig is my VR headset here that unfortunately is just laying on the ground, but trust me, it is very nicely taken care of. A big, massive shout out to Pimax for hooking me up with one of these dang johns. If you're interested in getting your own Pimax, baby, make sure you guys use code Gavin at pimax.com. This one's the Pimax Crystal Light. It's pretty dang comfortable, way more comfortable than the Oculus Quest 3 that I was using for quite a long time. And it's just straight plug and play because it's totally dedicated to the PC. It's all plugged in, ready to go. And you know, with my Oculus, I had to like try to set it up every single time I wanted to do anything, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So, but now we'll go ahead and move over to the sim rig here, and I'll show you guys how we get the transition going on. All I got to do is turn off this monitor. Check this out right here. See if we can get it in one easy go. I don't usually use the remote, so guess we'll have to do it by hand. This is the usual way, the non-cool way. Turn the monitor off. And then over here, the sim rig awakens, baby. We are now awoken and we're ready to hop behind the wheel and start hauling the mail. But before I hopped in the seat, I just wanted to let you guys know this is a Track Racer setup. Everything on it is Track Racer, including this triple monitor mount that we got around this thing. And then this, I forgot its exact name. It's like the variable Visa mount, maybe something like that, but this thing is huge with lining up your monitors. I get a lot of questions about how I lined up my monitors, and that is how. I got that Larry, that variable Visa mount on all 3 of these Johnsons. So as I was mentioning, we got the Track Racer triple monitor mount. We also have the Track Racer keyboard tray, which goes into the tube frame, and the Track Racer RS6 frame, which is a tube frame, which honestly, I would not recommend a tube frame at this point. If I were to go with it again, I would still go with Track Racer, you know what I'm saying, but I would get the aluminum frame because I feel like that's a lot more moddable and you can add a lot more cool things to it and make it more compatible with different things. It might be actually a little bit bigger, you know, so depending on your room, you might not go with that. I would have to like look more in the dimensions, but if I were to go with it again, I would probably go with the aluminum profile rig. Now, the microphone I use, it is nothing special, man. This microphone I purchased when I was still in middle school. You heard me right, middle school. That was 900 years ago, I want to say. It's some Technica thing. Not 100% sure. Got this tape over it because that light is always on, and was giving me a headache one time, and so we covered it up. And then this mic stand is actually a mic stand that I stole from my high school when I went to high school, also 100 years ago. And by stole, I mean I did not steal it. I I was on the radio club, and they were getting rid of a lot of equipment because they were getting some new stuff, and, I picked up this bad Larry. This thing was probably at the high school since the 1970s or something like that, I'd imagine, maybe. And so it's now here in my room, in my office, being used as my microphone stand. Then, of course, we got these bad Larrys that are a really big controversial statement for some reason. A lot of people have a really hard time seeing somebody use gloves to protect the sim equipment in this here simulator / video game. People have a hard time understanding. But when I purchased these gloves, these things were only $7. I think they might have gone up a little bit, but they're on Amazon, and I'll have the link in the description. Very cheap sim racing gloves. You don't need to freaking spend $100 on sim racing gloves to keep your Alcantara wheels and all that kind of good stuff nice. You don't need to spend that much. But now, taking a seat in my sim rig, and yeah, you can see my wallpaper, it's Borderlands. It's an actual screenshot I took just randomly in the game. I got some screenshots just going on repeat. But we have the CSL DD Fanatec Direct Drive. I guess that's what the DD stands for, but we got that on here. I got this off of eBay, just to set my cell phone here, whether it's to help monitor, my live stream. Sometimes I'll use it to read chat and stuff like that. And I have an app on my phone that shows some in-card data that I can use kind of as like a dashboard. Then over here, I actually have this light for my foot cam. Right there's a Logitech camera that was actually my first original webcam. If you go way back on my YouTube channel to my first videos, that is my very first webcam that I was using. It is now my foot cam. But that's how this is all set up. We got the light here. Couple tripod things the camera is hooked up to right there, kind of dusty. That's hooked up like that, and it's also plugged in, of course, to the wall, so it has infinite power. We got ourselves a pair of Fanatec, I believe Club Sport V3s is what these Johns are. Squeak squeak, which is why we got the WD-40. I mean, if you know of a permanent solution, man, let me know, dude. I've been hitting it with this old contact cleaning, quick drying, good stuff for quite some time. But I have had these pedals for years, man, probably since 2021, maybe 2022, and they have never failed on me. I got a little mark there for my for my heel, I guess. And of course, I do keep frequent maintenance with them. I take them apart, and clean it and dust it and, spray it with WD-40, the correct kind of WD-40 once needed. And I do have the Fanatec shifter over here. This is the one and only Fanatec shifter I've ever had. I did have a fairly decent problem with it not too long ago, maybe a year and a half ago, where it was misshifting on me. That same problem was also happening to, a lot of people, but famously Jimmy Broadbent in the Road America race when his Nissan GTP misshifted on him and it blew his engine. This is the shifter that happened on. I have remedied the situation. It was just a simple replacement of this wire and cleaning of something in here. I want to say a PCB, but I can't remember what it was called. I had to open this up and clean something, and it helped it out, and has not misshifted on me ever since. And then over here, I also have the original Fanatec handbrake. They do not make this exact style anymore. It has a bit of a different plug-in now, because this one's like a headphone jack. Big mistake, and kind of works still. Sometimes I have to wiggle this a little bit, then it'll detect, and then I'm all set. So a bit of a design flaw in their first iteration, but I do believe they have made another iteration that is better, which would be awesome if I could get a discount on that, but it'll never happen, baby. Us who bought the first iteration, we're just the guinea pigs. And of course, not to mention these sim racing socks, as we're always got on. I've got a couple links to those in the description. It definitely helps me go faster, you know what I'm saying? It gets that ultimate throttle control, It gets that slide factor going on with the foot. Squeak, squeak. And then just some basic, wireless keyboard I got right here, a wireless mouse with a Stream Deck that I had most recently gotten. Don't mind the cable management right there. Trust me, you can't see it when you're driving too much. I guess you kind of can, but I don't notice it. All right, I don't notice it. I got it tied up and stuff, and it's routed as good as I can get it, and that's about as good as it's gonna get unless some kind of professional comes in here. And anyone with OCD, I apologize. And then one of the most monumental things on the whole sim rig here is my Daytona Dad button box. This is what I used to start and stop my engine and everything like that. I got a couple buttons. It reads me out my damage, weather report, all sorts of stuff. Use it for, American Truck Sim and a couple other type of games. So massive thanks to Daytona Dad. Big shout out to him for custom making this for me. You know what I'm saying? Massive shout out. This has saved me a lot of fuel in Gen 4, baby. I won a race because of this thing, you know what I'm saying? We got to win because of the Daytona Dad button box. And then up in the top right, you can kind of see it. It is my camera that I use. It is a Canon Rebel T3i is what it is. It took some modifications to get working. It is not totally compatible with Elgato. I had to download Magic Lantern, which is a mod for it, and I have that thing so modded out. It is crazy. I didn't think I was going to be able to use it as a webcam, and I think it's like shocking that I got that thing working as a webcam. It's not supposed to. It's not like a recommended webcam DSLR. So maybe one day we'll get that thing upgraded. I'll get like a Sony a6500 or something like that, some $2,000 camera, and then that massive white box right there is my light. Let's go turn that on so you guys can experience how much of a flashbang I get. This controller thing is right here, and here we go. Check it out. Boom. Now we're lit up. We're opening up OBS so you guys can see the light, baby. Check this out. You can see it in the bottom corner here. It's not on, no signal, so we gotta go ahead and turn it on. You can see my reflection. What's up? That's me waving. Turn it on. Makes noise just like that. And then it'll come on, baby. Check it out. Any moment. What's up? That's me. I'm sitting here. What's going on? This is the big time. Then when we go ahead and turn the light off, it's freaking dark. You can't tell. What's up, dude? It's way too dark. And yeah, that's pretty much my whole sim rig right there. As you kind of saw a little bit earlier, we got a couple different steering wheels. I got this one, which is the Alcantara wheel that I'll be, always using my gloves on to protect the nice Alcantara. As you can see, it's already got a bit of wear. Really sad stuff. I'm talking about it like I spent $900 on it, but it's only like $100 and some bucks. It's not really too serious. And then I got this 1980s steering wheel from Fanatec, which I absolutely freaking love. I've been using this on some Automobilista 2, racing a lot of historic stuff, and it is so much easier to drive than this because this thing has a lot of mass to it, and it's a lot larger, so it takes a lot more effort to kind of move it and turn and stuff like that. And this thing is so small and so light, it turns in instantaneously. It's 1,000 times easier to save a race car, and I can just drive way harder with this thing. But I only use it for the 1980s Formula One and use that John for everything else. And I guess I almost forgot this thing. I do have this tripod that I use. Sometimes I'll put my phone in it like that. To film some over-the-shoulder shots for some shorts, or I'll have my other webcam that I have that goes onto this for when I'm live streaming to get like a steering wheel cam and stuff like that. So we do have a total of 3 cams. The cam that goes on that, the foot cam, and then my face cam right there. And that'll about wrap it up, so thanks a lot for watching. If there's anything that I missed or any other questions you guys have, definitely let me know down in the comments. And then of course I'll have all the links and stuff in the description as I already mentioned. If any of them are broken or if I missed something, let me know and I'll try to replace the link. It's possible that some of these things aren't being made anymore and are gone. I hope I answered any questions that some of you guys have been asking me for a while. And of course, massive thanks to all the YouTube members. I thank you guys all very, very much. And Twitch subs. Thank you guys a ton. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, if you want to see any other behind the scenes kind of stuff, I guess, I don't know, let me know. And then maybe I'll get to that in 10 years.